Good people, what's going on? Welcome to Mose Knows. I am your host, Mose. We are back with another episode of What We Learn. Usually I do this in video format. I get up here in the studio, I record something good for y'all, edit it up, throw it on the YouTube. But last week, the live went pretty well. So I think I might transition to more of a live type format for these shows instead of doing pre-recorded and posting it up. A little bit more fun that way, a little bit more interactive. You guys been asking for it. So I'm back with the live show. This is What We Learned week 7. Shout out to the special guest that we had last week, Jesse Naylor, for coming on and chopping it up with me. At that time, we were 6 weeks through the NFL season. Now, with the 17 game schedule in 18 weeks, we can break the season up in thirds. So we went over the first third of the NFL season. And just this past Thursday, Sunday, and Monday, week 7 started that second third of this 2021 NFL season. For some teams, it started off well. For other teams, it didn't start off too well. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. We got another special guest coming in, uh, getting his technology together. So as he comes in, we'll jump him right in, and we'll get right to the show. Before we do that, y'all know what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on all social media. I have a link to all of my social media accounts in the description. You can get at me right here on YouTube. You can follow me over on the Facebook page, follow me over on Twitter. What Mose knows on all of those social media sites. That is where you can stay in touch with me and figure out what's going on with the channel, with the content, and just get my thoughts on everything. Give me 1 second. He says, send a link to my email. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure we can get our guest in here today. We don't want to leave nobody out because we got some stuff to talk about. In the meantime, hit me up in the comment section. How was y'all day? How's y'all week going so far? I know we only 2 days in, but talk to me. Y'all feeling all right? Y'all feeling good? Are y'all teams doing well? I see you in the chat, Miss Deb. I know you are a 49ers fan. We gave you love yesterday on the Nitty Gritty Niners show. But anytime we get a chance to speak to you and show you love, we will do so. So shout out to Miss Deb. Miss Deb is 49er faithful through and through. She was at that game through the, what did they call it? A river monsoon or river something. They called it something like that. But brave the weather conditions, the storm out there in the rain, only for the 49ers to drop an egg like that. So I want to apologize uh, on behalf of the 49ers, Miss Deb, because that you shouldn't have had to be out there in those conditions and see that. She's asking a question. She says, where can we get your merchandise? That is a very, very good question, Miss Deb. I don't have a merchandise link up yet. I'm still trying to put all that together. I'm just trying to wear the apparel now to get it out there and see how y'all liking it. If y'all like it, you know, a couple people have already expressed that they liked it. I know you like it. I know Mariah Faithful Lee. She said that the gear was fire. I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. So as more and more people ask me about it, I'll get some things together and officially put out a merchandise store. If anybody want to cop a Mose Knows t-shirt, let me see if I can get John. And, let's see. So we putting that together in the background, Miss Deb. Absolutely. Sent. So I work in IT. I do this all the time. So sometimes there are technical difficulties, but we making sure we can get everybody right. So normally what I do with what we learned, I usually have my quick hitters, games I go through really, really quick, just touch on one or two brief things. And then usually I have a top five. This week, we had 6 teams on a bye: Buffalo, Dallas, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6 teams on the bye. That takes 3 games off the schedule. So instead of 16 games that we have for the first, 3 or 4 weeks, this week we only had 13 games. So this week is going to be a little bit different. And especially when my guest comes on, uh, I only have a top 3 this week. 2 games I want to talk about in detail, another that I want to spend a little bit more time on. And then the other games we can just, briefly run over. So as we're waiting for our guests to come in, we're just going to jump right in with the quick hitters. Let's start with the Thursday night matchup: Denver Broncos versus the Cleveland Browns. This one hurt me. And this one hurt me because if you're following me on TikTok, Mose knows on TikTok is another place where you can follow me on social media. Thursday nights, right before the matchup, I put out my weekly NFL picks. Weekly NFL picks every week. I do it on Thursday so I don't miss a game. And so far this season, I was undefeated on Thursday night. I was 6-0 on Thursday night. And I said, listen, no Baker Mayfield, no no Chubb, no Hunt. I was like, Landry coming back, but he might be a little bit rusty. OBJ hasn't been OBJ. David Njoku is up and down. I was like, no possible way Cleveland can win, right? The Broncos, they got brought back down to earth. They won 3 straight, then lost 3 straight. So they kind of, evened out. But I said they're good enough to get a win, right? And then here come this boy, D'Ernest Johnson. Shout out to D'Ernest Johnson. He de-earned his spot this week playing in that game. He came out, he ran the ball well. Denver had no answers for this young kid. And Cleveland got the win, and they messed up my undefeated record on Thursday night. Let's bring our guest in. He's a guest, but not really. He's family. You've seen him on this channel before. Y'all know what's up. Terrence, what's going on with you, fam?
What's good, everybody?
I see it. I see you got your Chiefs jersey on. I see you got your Chiefs hat on. I see you still rocking it. You being a fan through and through. Now I was on Nitty Gritty Niners. I'm a co-host on Nitty Gritty Niners, and I told him, I was like, listen, I don't know if I can wear my gear just yet the way my team playing, but you still rocking yours, so I can respect that. I can appreciate that. What's going on with you, fam? How you been?
I'm good, man. Everything's great, man. Just glad to be on here. Almost knows once again, man.
Good, man. Glad to have you. So I just talked about that Denver Cleveland matchup. I know Denver is one of the teams in your division, so I'm sure you was glad to see them lose.
Indeed.
I was not, because I picked them in my picks this week, and they messed up my undefeated Thursday night record. I figured it was going to fall, but I was trying to keep it going for a little bit longer. Any takeaways from that game that you saw this week?
I mean, there's only one takeaway. I think you just went ahead and said, D'Ernest Johnson. I mean, that man, I don't know if he was bagging groceries at ShopRite, and somebody went ahead and saw him and just said, hey man, you play football? Yeah, come on over, and we'll go. I don't know where he came from, but I mean, that kid just annihilated him.
Yeah, man, that was absolutely crazy. I know a lot of fantasy owners were happy about that. They picked him up at the last minute on the waiver wire. He was available, and I think 98% of the leagues, most people who had either Chubb, Hunt, or both, they were looking to find somebody to fill in on their roster. And he showed them love. He really did show them love.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Sunday matchups. We got Washington football team versus the Green Bay Packers. The way Washington has been playing, I didn't expect them to come out and do anything positive against the Green Bay Packers, especially on the road. Last week, if you guys tuned in with our guest Jesse Naylor, we mentioned the Washington football team as being one of the biggest disappointments this season, just because we expected this defense to play much better than it has so far. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's not clicking. I don't know if offenses, are able to figure them out. I'm sure it has something to do with the offense not being able to move the ball efficiently. But Green Bay was able to go in there and get a win, 24-10 over this Washington football team. What were your expectations, if you had any, for this Washington football team going into the season?
I mean, I'm actually surprised. I thought that Washington would be. I mean, everybody is talking about that vaunted front four. That was just going to be like that was just the next big thing, and that a lot of Washington fans were excited about that. That was something to hang their hat on. Then you go ahead and get Ryan Fitzpatrick, and like okay, we got something going here, and that front four has not lived up to its billing, at all. I mean, this might be a hot take, but Chase Young has been kind of disappointing. That's you kind of got the sophomore slump, type of thing as far as going on with him. So I think I'm more disappointed that I thought that their defense would be a whole lot better than it actually is. So now my expectations are, I mean, hopefully maybe later on there in the season, maybe the front four click, and they'll kind of reclaim what they did a little bit last year. But right now, I don't know. It looks like Washington is gonna be another one of those teams that goes from first to worst.
Mm, always seems to happen in that NFC East division.
Yeah,
Let's move over to Atlanta and Miami. This was another game, and also another team, surprisingly, that's not playing too well. I figure with the Atlanta Falcons on their schedule, playing at home after that loss last week in London, that this was the game that Miami needed to kind of right the ship and get things back together. Um, but it didn't happen that way. It almost happened that way. Tua was able to drive down and get a go-ahead score, but then Miami defense, which we also thought would be better than they have been playing, allowed Atlanta to drive down the field and get a game-winning field goal. Um, talk about this matchup. Talk about these two teams: Atlanta Falcons, Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins now sitting at what, 1-6?
yeah.
Yeah, man. What's going on in the MIA?
I don't know. I I mean to say that Tua has, and listen, I don't want to say that he's been a disappointment. I think that the expectation of him was way higher than it should have been. But then again, I understand why the expectation of him was so high. Of what he accomplished in Alabama. But it just looks like he's not the guy. And as well as I know, if you don't got a stud franchise quarterback, that sets your team back. Doesn't matter, what skill positions you put around them. Don't matter how good the defense. And I mean, Miami's defense is it's just gone in the toilet, and I don't quite understand why. Atlanta is kind of more the same. I don't know if Atlanta is just snake bitten or cursed. I don't know when they ever going to be good again. I mean, that's just real talk. I don't know. I mean, maybe once Matt Ryan is out of the picture, and they might go ahead and be able to draft a quarterback. And I don't know what Atlanta's going to do, but right now they're just in limbo, kind of the same as far as with Miami. But Miami, I think, is the bigger disappointment than either of those two teams because they had so much promise. Head coach, was just had everything clicking on all cylinders last year. And then again, maybe another sophomore jinx. You go ahead and come up on the next year and it's just everything is just falling flat.
Yeah, man, this team was one game away from making the playoffs last year, like
Yeah.
one game away. So you thought, the pieces that they added, what they did in the draft, that they would be able to get over that hump this year and kind of build on the success of last season. And this season may already be over for them. Sitting at 1-6 so far after 7 weeks. This season may already be over. Hey, we got another family member that joined. I think we going we reliving the preseason festivities that we had. Let's bring the family member in. We got my young boy Vino. What's good, Dev?
Yo, cuz. What up,
D.
family?
Jones.
What's good with y'all?
What's
good with you, man? Listen, we may not get to your team until a little bit later because y'all was on the bye, so we don't have a game to talk about.
Oh,
Right now, y'all got your team got the best record of the 3 teams that's up here. Cuz, how you feeling?
You feel me? Shout out to KJ Osborne. Did the Stephon Diggs 2.0 celebration. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all caught that. Yeah, the future. It's something about them Vikings drafting them wide receivers, man. I don't know how lucky, man. Every time, man. You know what I'm saying?
From the way Kyle Shanahan talk about Brandon Ayuk being in the doghouse, I think we missed on Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna just throw that out there. That
Yes,
was the
sir.
same draft class, but let's
Yes,
move
sir.
on. I don't want to stay here too long because I don't want to upset Jets fans. But it looks like the Jets, I don't know if they got off the bus or if they missed the plane to New England, but they got routed 54-13. Rookie quarterback versus rookie quarterback. Mac Jones threw for 307 yards in this game.
Looking like Brady.
That's what they want you to think. That they want you to think that he's Brady 2.0.
Yeah.
But what do we think? I do want to ask this question. What do we think about the Jets? What do we think about the second overall pick, Zach Wilson? Is this just a product of a New York Jets team that is rebuilding? Or is he all hype and not something with all hype with no substance?
I mean,
Zach Wilson, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, can I start? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not big on Zach Wilson. They better off was kept in Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? It's not honestly. I don't even think it's Zach Wilson. It's the Jets. You know what I'm saying? If Darnold didn't make it, we think Wilson gonna do. You could put Pat Mahomes on the Jets. What y'all think he gonna do? Let's be real. Brett Favre was what 8-8 with them. Started off 6-5-1 or something like that. It's the Jets, man. I'm sorry. Sorry to the Jets fans. I know you got Jets fans watching, Marcus. I'm a Vikings fan, so I apologize. But this what Mose knows. And Mose knows his cousin knows. So I know that the Jets need to rebuild. Like, sorry,
man.
Jets.
I'm not gonna sit here and let you go ahead and talk smack about the Delaware savior Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is now back on the Jets. It's time for him to go ahead and do work. You know what I'm saying? So Joe Flacco gonna go ahead and bring that team up.
Yeah, he will. He'll about 4 or 5 wins.
Yeah, I mean, with Zach Wilson, I mean, it's again these quarterbacks with so much hype, coming out when they come out. It's just the hype train connected to them is just so extensive. I mean, will Zach Wilson be a good quarterback? I think so. I think, once the right circumstances around him are better. The Jets are moving in that direction. I mean, they got a great coach in Robert Saleh. So I think that it's just going to be time. But the question is, will the Jets allow time to pass or enough time to pass for Zach Wilson could go ahead and at least be competent? We've seen flashes already, but then, we've seen, flashes of exactly how inexperienced he is. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback, so I just think that will the Jets give him enough time? I don't know, because, you got jobs at stake. When you draft a quarterback, it's 3 years. After 3 years, if it ain't working out, then dudes is getting fired and cats is getting traded. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, until the Jets get a competent running game and a defense that can be somewhere in the middle of the pack, they don't have to be top 5. But if they can be anywhere between 10 and 15, 10 and 20 and play consistent defense, then I don't think it'll be Sam Darnold all over again. He won't have the opportunities to show what he really can do when the team that is around him, isn't comparable to his skill set. So, again, this is year one for him, year one for Saleh. So we're going to have to see what they can do in the upcoming years. Shout out to my homie Dion, Niner Gang Podcast. Was good. Mo's about to do my pick show as well. We've been talking about it. We got to collab on that soon. Do a joint pick show coming up. Speaking of Sam Darnold, Carolina went to New York and they messed up my picks this week too, because I didn't expect the Giants to the Giants basically took the Panthers and put them over their knee, 25-3, and then Sam Darnold gets benched. So here's what we talk. We talk about Sam Darnold being the Jets and him not having the pieces, and him going somewhere and getting the pieces. Well, now, yes, Christian McCaffrey is injured, but Chuba Hubbard is filling in quite well. DJ Moore is balling this season. We clearly know he's your number one target. You got Robbie Anderson. You got Terrace Marshall. You got a solid defense. The Panthers' defense is ranked top 5. You go to New York and mean something, you can only put up 3 points.
I mean, listen, it wasn't Teddy.
Talk to me. I mean, because now. Exactly. It wasn't Teddy's fault.
I was just about to say the same thing.
They moved off of Teddy to go to Sam Darnold, and now 7 games into the Sam Darnold experiment, y'all on the phone with Houston talking about what y'all want for Deshaun.
I said, how many first round picks y'all want again? So I mean, yeah, we've already talked about in the other podcast how I feel about Sam Darnold. I mean, Sam Darnold, to me, I didn't buy the hype from him when he came out of USC. I didn't buy the hype. I thought that, he was going to go ahead and come to the NFL and do exactly what he did. And then, he goes ahead and goes to Carolina, and then everybody automatically assumes that, oh, well, he's in a new system, new this, new that, and he's going to go ahead and progress. And he had people almost convinced. Keep in mind, what did he have, like 5 rushing touchdowns in like 3 games or 4 games or whatever it was?
Yeah, at one point he was leading the league in rushing touchdowns.
He's leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Everybody was looking like, whoa, wait a minute. And in my mind, I'm like, hold on, just wait for it. Like, just wait for it. And like the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. You can time your clock to it. It's always going to happen. Sam Darnold is never going to be an elite quarterback. It's never going to happen. So now they're on the phone about to go ahead and give up, 2 firsts and 3 seconds or whatever crazy amount of draft capital, for Deshaun Watson, who ain't played football in about 18 months. Good luck with that.
Now, let me ask y'all this question, because it seems that things that used to work in the past don't work anymore. Devin, you mentioned Brett Favre. That gunslinger type of mentality where you can throw the ball all over the field, and if you throw 2 or 3 interceptions, it's cool because you're throwing for 4, 5, 6 touchdowns or whatever the case may be. Even if you throw, 3 picks to 3 touchdowns, that gunslinger mentality used to be able to work. I'm not seeing that type of gunslinger mentality work in this day in the NFL. Have defenses caught on? Have NFL teams as a whole improved as far as being able to take advantage of those penalties? Of those turnovers better? Or have the rules changes kind of limited the effectiveness of the gunslinger quarterback?
To me, I think it's a combination of all of those things. Go ahead and tell you from experience just with my team. The gunslinger thing ain't working no more. It worked for a while. It don't work no more. in regards to today's NFL, teams are going to go ahead and play back in a 2 shell or cover 2 or cover 4 or cover 6. They're going to take the deep passes away, and they're going to wait for you to make a mistake. And that's what these gunslinger quarterbacks now are facing. Before, you would have at least maybe a quarter of the defensive snaps be single high, single high safety. So now you're not seeing that. Now that might be 8%, 10%. Before we had a gunslinger quarterback, you would go ahead and blitz them. But now they'll go ahead and beat the blitz. Now they're not blitzing anymore. They're sending everybody back and just waiting. So that means if you got to go ahead and go down the field and slow walk your way down the field, 15 play drives for 75, 80, 85 yards, then hey, if you get a touchdown, I tip my hat to you. But what's not going to happen is all those 65, 75, 85-yard pass plays. It ain't going to happen. And right now, if you don't got a running game, and if you don't got at least 2 elite receiving threats on your team, you don't have it. And you're not going to go ahead and be successful. And that's what a lot of teams, including my team, is seeing right now.
I feel that. I think we all feel good about this one, especially all of us being from the East Coast. Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Vegas Raiders 33-22. I know not one of us in here care about the Eagles or their fan base. So we'll just leave it at that. And I find it ironic, and we'll talk about this a little later. I find it ironic that Zach Ertz leaves and in his first game with his new team has the longest touchdown play of his career.
Poetic justice.
I think if we, our parents and our grandparents, they always tell us if we don't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So if we could say something nice, I think the Eagles did set themselves up. And I mentioned this in the offseason. I think the Eagles set themselves up for this type of situation. They set themselves up where if Jalen Hurts comes and he balls out, then they have their quarterback of the future, and they can use those draft picks to focus on other areas of the team that they need to fill holes. If he doesn't, they have the draft capital necessary to trade up and go get the quarterback that they want. The question will be, is that quarterback in this upcoming draft class? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So do you ride with Hurts another year? Do you find a way to accumulate more picks for the next year's draft? Or do you go all in on a quarterback that you like, but that you don't love? So I think that's where the Eagles can also get in trouble. So while they set themselves up, if they want to move off from Jalen Hurts, you got to do it for the right guy. So we'll have to wait and see if that guy is in this upcoming draft, or he maybe exactly. That's where I was going. They have the draft capital to say, look, we want Deshaun in Philly. We got what you're asking for. Let's make a deal happen. I won't like that, because then that means Philly might be somewhat good with Deshaun. And I like Deshaun, and I want him to be somewhere else other than Philly. But let's not spend too much time on that. Let's go to the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams. This was funny. I saw a meme, and I didn't have time to make it a graphic for the show. But it was Jared Goff at the podium with a smile, and he was like, "It feels good to finally be the reason why the Rams won a game." So Detroit Lions at the Los Angeles Rams. It's actually a closer game than I thought it would be. I thought, especially with the Rams at home, I thought Stafford was going to go crazy. And he did throw for 334, but I thought he was going to go crazy. I thought the Jets score would be the score in this Rams-Lions game.
Yes,
I thought the Rams would blow them out by like 40, but they only won by 9. So I will say, for me, that is a testament to this Detroit team and their head coach, Dan Campbell. Y'all know what he said when he got hired. He biting off ankles, biting off kneecaps, and they scratching and clawing. If they get knocked down, they're going to keep getting back up. And this team, it looks like they're close. Now, on paper, they're not as close as they would seem. I think their running game is okay. They have a decent tight end. I don't know if you can trust Jared Goff, but they got to put more work on that offensive line. They got to put more work in that receiver room, and they definitely got to address holes on defense. But if they're playing with this mentality that every game that they play, they're in, and they're going to fight until quadruple zeros are on the clock, then they got a shot. Dev, I'm gonna toss this one to you since this team is in your division.
Oh
What
yeah,
have you
exactly.
seen? What you say?
I said I know exactly what I'm gonna say about this game. First of all, the Rams and the Lions. That game was based on the reason why it was so close. It was a battle of who won that pit, who won that trade. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody want to look crazy. Like, oh, if the Rams would have blew them out, they'd have been like, see, we got Darnold. We knew he was good. And if the Lions would have won, Goff, yeah, y'all could have kept Darnold. I don't care. I would have gave y'all him for a 6th-round pick. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so close. But overall, I think that Darnold is going to have more success than Josh. What's his name? Goff.
Jared Goff and
Jared
Goff and
Matt Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. I say Josh Darnold because we're talking about earlier. Sam Darnold, not Josh Darnold. Sam Darnold. Anyway, yeah. So I think Stafford's going to have more success, and I'm glad he left Detroit because y'all can hear it in my voice. Why I'm happy because the Vikings don't got to deal with him because he's always torching us. Him and Galladay were really unstoppable. So I'm glad that's over with. Thank you, Giants, and thank you, Rams. So, I wish the Rams well. The Lions are 0-7. They can stay that way. 0-6, whatever they are, they can stay that way.
I mean, they're going 0-17. I mean, that's just
they're not going to win a game.
No, they're going.
I give them 2. I give them 2.
Hold on. Let me look at their schedule. They're not going to win a game.
Not a game.
Hey, look, they got the Eagles next.
That's part of their win.
They got the Eagles next.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even know about that one. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I feel so bad for Jared Goff. I really do. My heart goes out to him. This kid was on a high-powered offense that went to the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yep.
And now he is in purgatory, football purgatory in Detroit. I mean, what did that man do to deserve that? I mean, that man's career, unless he get traded within the next couple of years, is over. I mean, he's going to be another Joey Harrington. Don't nobody talk about Joey Harrington no more. Don't nobody talk about what's another one? Rodney Pete. Or what's the other black quarterback? What's his name? Andre Ware.
Man.
Let's say don't nobody talk about them, and that's what Jared Goff is going to be when you go ahead and mention Detroit quarterbacks. It's going to be him sandwiched between Joey Harrington and Rodney Pete and Andre Ware. And that's just sad to me. I mean, he had good potential, but it's just that I just feel every time I watch him play, I just feel like, man.
Feel bad. What the rumors are that I think it was Jared Goff that tried to hit on Sean McVay's girl.
I heard that too.
So you can't run this offense and you trying to hit on my girl. Yeah, I'm gonna trade you to the worst possible place that you can go to.
Yeah.
So I think Jared may have made his own bed with that one. Let's move over to the Texans and the Cardinals. I mean, not really much to say about this game. I think the media kind of set this one up for us. It was J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins versus the Houston Texans, an organization that I mean they respected JJ, but the way they did Hop was wrong. And now JJ and DeAndre get revenge against their old team, 31-5. I didn't have Houston winning this game at all.
Does
And it wasn't close.
DeAndre Hopkins not go for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns?
I don't think he did in that game. No.
I mean,
I mean, listen. If I was Cliff Kingsbury, I mean that's what I would have done. I would have threw it to Hopkins on every single play. He had a total of 9 targets. He had 7 catches for 53 yards and 1 touchdown.
wow.
But I mean, they spread the ball around. Zach Ertz, new to the team, had 3 catches for 66 and a touchdown. AJ Green 3 for 66. Christian Kirk 4 for 50 and a touchdown.
Who, in my opinion,
the
should be comeback player of the year.
Who?
AJ Green should be comeback player of the year.
Listen, the way he's playing right now, I don't know anybody else. I don't know anybody else who could take that title from him.
Because that man's career was dead in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was.
Dead.
Yeah, it was.
And that man went to Arizona and just breathed new life into that. I mean,
he's playing. He's taking on a new role as a secondary receiver. You know, for his entire career, he was a primary receiver. But you know, him taking on that. Yeah, if you good. Let me mute it because we getting a lot of feedback from you, Dev. Can't hear you. So yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, he gets to Arizona, steps into that number 2 wide receiver role. I think he embraced that role at this point in his career, and it's working out well for him. I mean, again, these are supposed to be quick hitters. Do we even need to touch on Tampa and Chicago?
No. The only thing I will say in regards to Tampa and Chicago, I got a question. Did you hear about the compensation that the fan got that got the 600 that got Brady's 600th touchdown? The compensation that he got for going ahead and turning the ball back in.
I did, and I agree with Shannon Sharp. Ain't no way y'all getting this ball back without giving me season tickets for life.
For real.
Ain't no way I'm getting out of this without getting a signed football from Brady. I'm getting a signed helmet from Brady. The cleats that you was wearing, or maybe not the cleats. Maybe they'll go to the Hall of Fame. But I need a pair of your cleats signed. I need a home jersey. I need an away jersey. And I need an alternate jersey signed. Like, there's a laundry list of stuff that I need for you to get this ball back instead of for you to give me a bag of peanuts, 2 cookies, and a high five. Like
that's basically what that guy got. I mean, you know, it couldn't have been me. Now, I mean, he got some nice stuff. I mean, he got two signed jerseys from Brady and a helmet. He got a signed jersey from Mike Evans and cleats, which I mean, I guess, you know. He got season tickets for 2 years. And he got 1 Bitcoin. Which is
they gave him a Bitcoin.
They gave him a Bitcoin. So you know.
So he got season tickets for 2 years, and that's probably the 2 years is probably the last 2 years Brady will play.
Right.
So that's not bad.
Right.
Again, I agree with Shannon. I need season tickets for life though. If y'all make it to the playoffs, if it's not included in my season ticket package, I need tickets for all home playoff games. And like Shannon said, if y'all make the Super Bowl, y'all need to comp me 2 tickets to the Super Bowl as well. But I mean, you're right. They did give him some good stuff. He got the helmet. He got basically 3 signed jerseys, 2 from Brady, 1 from Evans. Got the helmet, got the cleats, got a Bitcoin. I mean that's
a nice haul. That's a nice haul.
But he could have got more.
But he could have got way more than that.
And listen, and with the capitalistic society that we live in, I don't want to hear nobody saying that man would have been greedy if he asked for it.
Right.
As much as these big wig CEOs of these companies take home in bonus checks every year, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and I'm not
last game on the quick hitters, New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks. I did pick New Orleans. Really, only reason why I picked New Orleans is because Russell Wilson wasn't playing. I feel like if Russell Wilson plays this game, Seattle wins because they put up way more than 10 points. I know your son, my local. Is that him? Is that him peeking through the door right there?
That's him.
I see. Oh, he came in at the right time. What's going on with your Seahawks, little cuz?
No, we're not going to talk about that. My team is fine right now.
He's in denial.
He's in denial.
He's in denial.
Oh, did you have did you school him on who Geno Smith really is?
I told him.
Geno Smith is the GOAT.
See, that's denial. The fact that he would even say that, is denial.
I'm gonna just blame it on his youth.
He's 12. He don't know nothing about Geno Smith with the Jets. He don't know.
No.
Geno Smith is the GOAT. You can't tell me otherwise. He's the MVP.
Oh man. All right. Those are the quick hitters. Let's spend some time on the top 3 this week. And then we'll get out of here. First in the top 3, I really want to spend some time on this Cincinnati Bengals game. Because listen, beginning of the year, I tried to tell people, and in the over and under, I said I think the over and under on the sports book for the Bengals this year was 6 wins. Now I said I like what this Bengals team is doing. I like where they are. I said give me the over for the Bengals. I think they're going to be better than people expect. And I said if the over under is 6, I said I'm sure they can get 7 wins. Well, they already at 5. They're at 5-2, and they're tied for first in the AFC North right now.
I think they're tied for first overall in the AFC. I think right now, if the playoffs were to end, they're the number 1 seed.
Wait.
I thought I read something that says that if the playoffs ended today, Cincinnati is the 1 seed.
Hold on, let me see. You're absolutely right. Because they're undefeated in the conference.
They're undefeated. Who would have thought that stretch of phrases or that stretch of word would even come to pass? Not me. I mean,
the Cincinnati Bengals are the
Bengals.
1 seed, not in the division, in the AFC. Wow.
I mean, that just goes to show you that there's parity every year, when it comes to football. I mean,
that's why we play. That's why they play the games, man.
That's why they play the game.
Baltimore was hot. They came off of routing, and I mean completely routing the Chargers. But maybe we should have expected this because prior to that, the Chargers came off of a huge win versus the Browns. It was a shootout. They were able to pull that game out. And then the next week, they lay an egg against Baltimore. But Baltimore routes the Chargers, and then they come out and lay an egg against the Cincinnati Bengals. So maybe because of the way the schedule plays, you can tie that into it. But I don't want to discredit what this Bengals team is doing. They're playing really good defense right now.
Yes.
On a defense where you can't really name too many people. This defense doesn't have that many household names.
I know Jesse Bates. The safety.
I know. I know 2 other names. So Jesse Bates is one, and I know the defensive ends, Sam Hubbard from Ohio State, and Trey Hendrickson, who came over from the Saints.
Yes.
So those are the only 3 names that I know on that defense, but they're playing sound, solid defense. And Joe Burrow is on fire right now. The chemistry with Jamar Chase is real. It's evident. The same chemistry that took them to a national championship is the same chemistry that they have together right now. Yeah. A lot of talk was Jamar Chase in, preseason. He couldn't catch anything, dropping all type of passes. And I don't know if that was just a smoke screen, if that was for people to not pay him any attention in the real games. But Jamar Chase is going off. He's going off.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Justin Jefferson because Jamar Chase is probably going to get offensive rookie of the year. Probably. In a year where the rookie quarterbacks none of the rookie quarterbacks are playing well enough to win that award.
Right.
And it just so happens that in the year that Justin Jefferson should have won it, Justin Herbert, he balled out.
Right.
So I feel bad for JJ, but I know he's going to be happy for his bro. I don't for Baltimore, they have kind of shown a few inconsistencies this year. First game of the season against the Raiders, which they lost. They kind of struggled against Detroit, which was odd. And they needed a record-breaking field goal to win that game, which is absolutely crazy. So Baltimore has shown some inconsistencies, but for the most part, they are playing well. We know they have issues in the backfield at running back. They lost their two top backs to ACL injuries. So they kind of got patchwork running backs right now. And you don't want Lamar Jackson taking too many hits and being your primary runner, especially in a season where we're seeing him improve as a passer.
Yes.
He is really shown improvement as a passer of the football, not just a runner.
Right.
But
the thing with the thing with Lamar, that we all know regular season Lamar Jackson is fantastic. Postseason Lamar Jackson, that's the issue. So he's doing all this stuff now. He looks great in the pocket. He's running less. He's going ahead and completing. I think he's top 5 in completion percentage for passes 25 yards or more downfield. So he's doing great. But it's the postseason, as far as when he has the issues, when the lights are the brightest. When them specialized game plans come out for Lamar Jackson, that's when he struggles. So, yeah. I mean, right now, obviously before this past game, he was on pace to be MVP again. For over the past few games. So we'll see. One thing about Cincinnati that I think a lot of people are missing: Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon right now is quietly, and I mean quietly, balling out at the running back position. And a lot of people don't notice. He's keeping his head down. He's not saying nothing, but quite honestly, he's balling out. I think he's top 3 in rushing, either top 3 or top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me take a look at the stats. Let me pull it up while you're talking. Yeah. He is top 3.
He's top. He's top.
So Derrick Henry is miles above everybody. He already has 869 yards.
Right.
Jonathan Taylor is second with 579, and Joe Mixon is right behind him at 539.
Really quietly, he's going ahead and having a great season, or a great start to the season, as the, however many games have been played. So if that continues with Joe Burrow balling out and that great connection with Jamar Chase, Cincinnati might be a problem come January.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll see if they go ahead and they keep this thing going. You never know.
Absolutely. I'm trying to take a look and see what his receiving yards are this year too. So right now he's got 13 receptions for 90 yards. So he is doing more of his work on the ground. Mm-hmm. But total yards from scrimmage looks like 629, total of 5 touchdowns. Only 1 fumble this year. And he didn't lose it. So when he did fumble, either he recovered it or a teammate recovered it. So he's holding on to the ball, he's protecting the ball, and he's helping them move the chains on the ground and through the air. So I think he's a big part of this offense. But because, like you said, Joe Burrow is balling out, Jamar Chase is doing his thing. He's taking the backseat to those guys. And right now, I don't think he cares. I think he's going out there, he's doing his job, and he's getting it done. So shout out to Joe Mixon. For real. All right, man. Let's get to what we got to talk about. Since you are our guest, we'll save your game for last, and we'll let you end the show. My San Francisco 49ers, bro. I think the gauntlet of our season was that Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals, 3 games in a row. And we lost all 3 of those. Lost a heartbreaker to Green Bay. Had a game-winning drive only for Aaron Rodgers to do what he does and drive his team down the field for a game-winning field goal. And that one kind of frustrated me because Mason Crosby been missing kicks all season, and that one he wanted to make. He couldn't just miss that one for me, but okay. Seattle, we start strong, but apparently Jimmy gets hurt during or after the first drive, and we can't capitalize. Arizona, we start the rookie Trey Lance, and I don't know what game plan my head coach called, but it was an awful game plan. But we were still in that game and had a chance to win. Only lost by 7, holding the number 1 ranked offense to 17 points. And then we get 2 weeks to rest up, recharge, get some healthy bodies back. We play Indianapolis, albeit in inclement weather conditions. We just couldn't get right. Now we're sitting at 2-4, losers of 4 straight. The 49ers fans know we've lost 10 of our last 11 home games. So there's no home field advantage for us. Like we're losing those games. And besides this last game, which was rained out, and I think 4 or 5 games last year where it was a COVID year, we pack out Levi Stadium. Our fans are always there. Our fans are always rocking. It's always loud. We pack out Levi Stadium, but there's no home field advantage because we're losers of 10 of our last 11. From afar, what did you see? And I ask you that because Darius Leonard, linebacker for the Colts, said something that ironically or unironically we've heard before. After the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Tyrann Mathieu said, "I'm so glad the 49ers went away from running the football because we couldn't stop them for sugar honey iced tea." After this game, Darius Leonard says, "I'm so glad the 49ers went away from what worked that first drive because we were having a tough time stopping it. But they didn't go back to it, and that helped us." Now, if 2 players from 2 different teams in 2 totally different seasons are saying the same thing, what is the problem?
I mean, at this point, and it sucks to say this, but it's Kyle Shanahan. I mean, you guys have 49ers have one of the most potent running offenses that not only that I've seen within the past few years, that I've probably seen within the past 10, 15 years. I mean, just the schemes and the blocking schemes, like in that Super Bowl when the 49ers played the Chiefs. Some of the stuff y'all was pulling, I was like, y'all were having, guards pulling from here and tight ends chipping and pulling. I'm like, what the heck is going on? What are they doing? And Honey Badger was right. We had no way of stopping them. But I think kind of like the Chiefs, the blueprint is out on the 49ers. And the blueprint is get them out of running the football. And then more than likely, they're not going to be able to go ahead and execute. I mean, we've already gone over this with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is a system quarterback. It's always been a system quarterback. When he's out of the system, you can't have a quarterback that you are depending on the team to run 85% of the time. And then the other 15%, you want him to pass the ball, but he can't make no mistakes passing the ball. That's something that's not going to happen. I think that's what Kyle Shanahan wants from Jimmy Garoppolo and to a degree from Trey Lance. And teams are like, if we get them out of running the ball, if we get them into obvious passing situations, then they're going to fold. And until the 49ers get back to running the ball at all costs, then you kind of go ahead and have this until Trey Lance develops. Right now, he's not developed. He's a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks don't succeed, in their first year. It's documented. It's very rare. that they go ahead and succeed to a point, for whereas is that they're operating their team at an optimum level. And right now, the 49ers don't have that at this point. They're putting the ball in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands and saying, win the game for us. And that's not who he is. He has to have everything working perfectly for him in order for things to work right. In order to move the ball. If everything is not right, then there's going to be hiccups. And that's kind of, where it is right now. Kyle Shanahan is going to have to go ahead and make the effort to say, look, I don't care what's going on. I don't care. Even if it's just from an attitude perspective, I don't care if it's 3rd and 9. I'm running the ball. At least, a couple of these series a game just to keep the defense honest. But he's not doing that. And I don't know if it's a pride thing. I don't know if it's because his last name is Shanahan. He just believes that, okay, my way is the best way. And, we're just going to go ahead and go with it because he does have a bit of an ego issue. But, that's kind of what I believe is that I believe that he just needs to go ahead and do what got him to the dance. And if he does that, everything else will follow. But until that happens, you're kind of going to get where you're at right now.
Listen, man, for you from afar to see that Kyle Shanahan has an ego, I mean, I don't think it can get any clearer than that. I think everybody who, especially fans of this team, everybody who watches this team and are fans of this team, we know that Kyle has an ego. So for somebody outside who doesn't focus on this team to see that, that should let you know that one, you have a major problem. Shout out to Miss Deb. She says, which is exactly why Trey should come in and be the QB under center. He provides the unexpected. She says, and Jimmy is killing us. Absolutely. There was a bunch of plays. I don't know if you've seen them, Terrence, and if you didn't, I'll show them to you, where Jimmy missed wide open guys. There's one play that's been circulating where on the interception that he threw to Deebo Samuel, he didn't read the defense at all. Colts are playing single high, and the safety pre-snap is cheating to Deebo's side. So clearly, he's the cornerback's over the top help. If we want to take the deep shot, he's the over the top help. A lot of people are defending Jimmy, saying that, oh, it's 3rd and 3, so the play has to be quick, the ball has to come out hot. And I agree, the ball does have to come out hot. But if you're a cerebral quarterback, and if you're watching this play, and if at pre-snap I see the safety cheating, taking small steps to get over there, I immediately in my mind, I know, okay, he's the help on that side.
Right.
So if I know the ball has to come out hot, and this is what I said in a Facebook group where somebody was defending Jimmy. If I'm the quarterback and I know the ball has to come out hot, and that's my first read, I'm looking at him from jump. I'm not looking that safety off. Because if I know he has help over top, then I can also bet, which happened on that play, he may have help underneath because it has to come out quick. So they don't know if Deebo is going to run a curl, a quick slant, a drag, or if he's going to run a go. So they're going to have help for the corner, Xavier Rhodes, who was hurt in and out of the game with some type of issues. So you know they're going to give him help. But the safety gives you a tell. He is physically moving in that direction. So if I'm a cerebral quarterback, I'm looking, as soon as I snap the ball, I'm looking at Deebo. But because I know what I have to my right side, I know I got Sanu running a post and I got Ayuk running it out. And if that safety goes, I have 2-on-1 over here. I can either hit Ayuk on the out or I can hit Sanu on the post, whichever one is more open.
Right.
So at the snap, I'm looking at Deebo. As soon out of my peripheral, as soon as I see that safety break, I'm back this way. And as soon as I turn my head and look back this way, he knows he messed up. And if he would have did that, he would have saw Sanu. I mean, Terrence,
wide open.
He could not have been more wide open. Couldn't have been more wide open. And it's an easy throw for a touchdown. Nobody's catching him. Even Sanu, as an older wide receiver, not running a 4-4 anymore. He's still going to pay dirt easy. And this is what frustrates me and the rest of the 40 or a good portion of the 49er faithful about Jimmy Garoppolo. It's the fact that he doesn't think. It's the fact that that cerebral part of the game, that football IQ, that I've seen this before. Or when he does this, I know this is happening. Because concepts change, schemes change, there are little nuances, but for the most part, you know what cover one is.
Yeah.
You know what the safety's responsibility in cover one is. You know. So if I see cover one and I know what that safety's responsibility is in cover one, I'm going to let him, and this is what the best quarterbacks do. This is what Brady has done for 20 plus years. This is what Aaron Rodgers does. This is what Russell Wilson does. The great quarterbacks, they take what the defense gives them.
Right.
They don't try to force what they want or what the coach wants. They take what the defense gives them. If that was Brady, he would have stared Debo down so fast, and as soon as that safety would have broke, he would have said, whoop, bam,
going over the top.
Got him. We talked about it yesterday, that infamous play where Clay Matthews is calling out the Panthers play, and Cam Newton goes, I see you've been watching film. That's cute. Watch this. That's the mentality that Jimmy should have. But he doesn't have it. And it's one play. That one play could have changed the game. There were multiple other plays, but that one play could have been a difference maker in a game where we need difference-making things to happen to end this losing streak. And it's frustrating. It's super frustrating.
I mean, prime example, and I know you're not going to want to hear this, but, I keep it 100, and I'm going to go ahead and say, and you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. That pass that Jimmy Garoppolo overthrew that basically would have won y'all the Super Bowl. That's just where it is in a nutshell. Emmanuel Sanders cooked the safety, who, if I'm not mistaken, was Dan Sorensen. We'll get to that when we talk about the Chiefs. Cooked Dan Sorensen. It wasn't like Garoppolo had a bunch of pressure in his face. Clean pocket. All he had to do was step into the throw. Wide open. And I think Emmanuel Sanders had maybe about 2 to 3 yard separation on Dan Sorensen, which again ain't a shock. And he missed it. He overthrew a receiver that had a 2 to 3 yard lead by 3 yards.
And okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up because this allows me to bring this up. Shout out to Tyrese Powell. I'll get to your comment and say, he says, how do you feel about the Bengals? Right now, I love the Bengals. I love what they're doing. We actually just got finished talking about them. We talked about how Joe Mixon is quietly having a really, really good season. Top 3 for running backs right now. Joe Burrow is cooking. Jamar Chase is likely going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think the Bengals are playing well. I picked them to be my dark horse team to play well this season. So if they keep it up, I love it because, that's a team that I'm rooting for this season. But you bring up the overthrow. And I think this is another part of Jimmy's game that's frustrating. Not only does he not process information, he doesn't learn from mistakes and then apply it properly. Because there were a few games prior, the game against the Saints, where he had Emmanuel Sanders open downfield and he underthrew it. He had to catch the ball, fell to the ground. Luckily, nobody touched him. He was able to get up and run into the end zone. There was a game against the Rams late in the season where Emmanuel Sanders beat the safety Taylor Rapp, infamous because Jalen Ramsey was pissed off. He was like, "You're supposed to be my help. Where are you?" He beat Taylor Rapp, but Jimmy underthrew that ball. So in that situation, instead of practicing with E-Man and trying to get on the same page, in that situation, he panicked because we were down, because we needed to go ahead score. He panicked and he thought, wow, I've underthrew Emmanuel once. I underthrew him twice. I can't underthrow him on this play. And he overthought it. Instead of just playing football and say, I got E-Man open. I know where he likes the ball to be placed. Let me put it there. He overcompensated in that moment because of the previous underthrows, and he put too much on the ball. He put too much on it. The route was beautiful. We got the coverage that we wanted, and he was wide open, and you overthrow him. You overthrow him. So all of these frustrations with Jimmy Garoppolo, on top of the fact that he can't seem to stay healthy, have just been boiling over. And while I agree with you that it's been documented that rookie quarterbacks just aren't ready, I'd rather have Trey in the fire right now, learning on the job, than getting the same Jimmy Garoppolo every week where Brian Baldinger is breaking down a play and Jimmy Garoppolo has a wide open Brandon Ayuk, which would have been another 80-yard touchdown. But on the play, he drifts too far to the right into the line of pressure, causing his tight end to be redirected, which then forced him to hold the pass rusher. And then eventually he lets him go. The guy gets to Jimmy and hits Jimmy's arm. So the ball doesn't even get to its intended target. Debo catches it for a 13-yard gain, but it's a holding penalty. But on that play, he drifted too far to the right, which put his tight end at a bad angle for the pass rusher, which I believe caused the holding. It's little stuff, but it's a lot of little stuff. It's too many of the little things that are happening with Jimmy Garoppolo that he's not noticing and that he's not correcting. Where it's like, bro, I'm done with the Jimmy G experiment. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Yes, he took us to a Super Bowl. He was our quarterback on that team. Respect him for that. But right now, I'm done. Like I literally have no more faith in his ability to be a starting quarterback for this team. Maybe if he goes somewhere else, the system will work for him. Maybe another coach, another system, another scheme. Who knows? I mean, obviously he's not going back to New England, but maybe if Josh McDaniels gets a head coaching job this offseason and he goes to a team that doesn't have a quarterback, but maybe they don't have a good enough draft pick, or he doesn't like the quarterbacks in the draft, maybe he signs Jimmy to come in to be a bridge for 2 or 3 years until he can get the guy that he wants. And, Jimmy can run Josh McDaniels' offense. But right now, I'm done with him in a 49ers uniform. Shout out to the young king, Amin the Dream. What's up, Mose Knows? What's going on, Amin? How you been, man? Good to see you. Glad you can make it. All right, man. That's enough. We already at 118. A little bit over the time, but it's all good. We talking good football. Last in the top 3, you are our resident Kansas City Chiefs expert, and I think the question that everybody has is it's a simple question, cuz what's going on in Kansas City? From the top to the bottom, from the head coach Andy Reid to the offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, to your quarterback, to your running back situation, to the revamped offensive line, to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, to the defense and Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Daniel Sorensen, Tyrann Mathieu, the cornerback. What is going on with Kansas City? If you told me at the beginning of the year, 7 weeks in, that the Kansas City Chiefs would be
3-4,
3-4, I would have not believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. And I mean, yeah, they played Baltimore, they played Tennessee, they played Buffalo, they played the Chargers. We're not talking about slouch teams. They played some pretty good teams.
Right.
But of those teams, of the Josh Allen led Bills, the Justin Herbert Chargers, the Lamar Jackson Ravens, who else did I say? The Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry Tennessee Titans. The Chiefs was the cream of the crop in the AFC. 2 straight Super Bowl appearances. You got that half a $1 billion quarterback at the helm. You still got Andy Reid. Because of the long playoff run, you get to keep your offensive coordinator, add some pieces on the defense. I thought adding a linebacker like Nick Bolton, revamping that linebacker core could only do good. What from you the resident Chiefs expert, cuz I need you to tell us what is going on in Kansas City.
All right. Turn my hat backwards the other way. All right. So I'm going to tell you a bit of a quick story. 2018. Chiefs had number 1 offense in the NFL. And I think at that time, historically, I think we were like top 10 offenses of all time, just in regards to output. But our defense was horrible. I mean, it was historically bad. We lost the AFC Championship game at home. D Ford went offsides, negated an interception, which would have sent us to the Super Bowl. Okay. So instead of the Chiefs going ahead and saying, okay, we got to go ahead and fix some things on defense. And they kind of did. They let D Ford go. D Ford went to the 49ers. They went ahead and got Frank Clark. They went ahead and got Tyrann Mathieu. So they did some things to go ahead and correct the defense. 2019, the offense was good, but it wasn't historically good. It was okay. You know, there was that stretch that we had 7 or 8 games that we won by less than 7 points in a row. Defense was better. Defense was middle of the pack. They went ahead and took the ball away. I think we were top 5 in DVOA in regards to takeaways on defense. Offense was still, I think, number 3, number 4. Defense was middle of the pack. We won a Super Bowl. 2020, goes ahead and comes along. This season, goes ahead and comes along. We have these things that occur, and now we just say, okay, we're going to go ahead and run it back. We got everything we need. 2020, COVID season, we're going to run it back. Everything looks good. We go to the Super Bowl. We go ahead. Everybody knows the outcome of what happened there. We had 5 shopping carts out there as offensive linemen. So what does the front office do? They go ahead and say, you know what? We're going to go ahead and get 5 new offensive linemen. We're going to get an entirely new offensive line. But we're not going to have anything change on the defense schematically. Steve Spagnuolo, great defensive coordinator. We're going to keep everything as it is. Okay. Now it's 2021. You got 2018, 2019, 2020. You haven't really made major changes to certain parts of the offense. Defense, our corners have been trashed since 2017. We talked about this before. Our staff, and this includes Andy Reid and Brett Veach, they like to go ahead and get discount bargains at corner. So you go ahead and you get the corner who was a first-round pick from Minnesota. I wish Dev was still on there because he can go ahead and attest to Mike Hughes more than information than I have. He was a first-round pick, flamed out. You got Travarius Ward, first-round talent, flamed out, got him on the cheap. You got DeAndre Baker, first-round pick as far as you know from the Giants. Goes ahead and he's a flame out. We go ahead and get him on the cheap. When you go that route, eventually, when like you shoot dice, you're going to crap out. And that's where we are right now. We are crapping out. And now the offense is starting to crap out because Mahomes, say what you want, about him $500 million. I wouldn't have paid him $500 million, but I get why they did it. They were trying to really get him on the cheap, even though that sounds ridiculous when you say that, but they were trying to get him on the cheap, at that particular time. Now you got a $500 million quarterback, which means $500 million expectations. You just lost the Super Bowl. Now you got to go in there and produce. You got a new baby, and you got a new wife, or I guess I don't know if they're married yet, but so you got that. That's a lot of pressure. You got Tyreek Hill, not the same. Travis Kelce, not the same. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was supposed to be what was all world when he came out of LSU. Not the same. So you got all these factors that add up. You got Dan Sorensen, a safety, who was slow 3 years ago. He was slow. He was white and slow 3 years ago. Nothing wrong with that. But 3 years ago, he was slow. And now he's still starting for the first 4 or 5 games, getting torched by everybody. I don't mean getting torched. It's one thing to get torched by Keenan Allen or to go ahead and get torched as far as, he was getting torched by some dude on the Eagles. I forget what his name was. I think he was going
Watkins.
Ahead. Huh?
Quez Watkins?
Yes, he had Quez Watkins torching him. This is a Super Bowl champion winning safety getting torched by Quez Watkins. When you have all these things occur and you don't do what you need to do to fix them every season, you get this. Now, everything is falling apart, and now we got to go ahead and try to duct tape everything back together again. Like this game against the Giants, I don't know if we're going to win or not. I have no idea. It is sad because I was the one that was the most confident, but now I have no idea because I don't know what Chiefs team is going to show up. It could be the team that showed up for the second half of Washington. It could be the team that showed up the first half against the team that we played last week, the Tennessee Titans. I don't know. So you got that. And then kind of when I was talking to you about Kyle Shanahan being stubborn and having an ego, Andy Reid has an ego too. Things have to be a certain way. He's got this 15-play script that he goes off of at the beginning of every game and at the beginning of the second half. He don't deviate from it. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what the defense is given to him. Doesn't matter what they show him. He's going off of that first 15. Now, he's been great doing that for the past 3 years. But now, like everything, the NFL is a copycat league. They look, they study tape. That's all these teams do in the offseason, study tape. You got teams who their sole purpose is to beat the Chiefs. Buffalo, when they beat us on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago, they said we have built our team to beat the Chiefs. Not to beat the Ravens, not to beat the Chargers, not to beat the Browns, to beat the Chiefs. Because we know if you beat the Chiefs, you're top of the mountain. And you got the Chargers who have done that. You got the Bills who have done that. To a certain degree, you got the Ravens who've went ahead and done that, to a degree. So you got all these top teams in the AFC who their sole purpose is to construct their team to go ahead to beat the Chiefs. And that's kind of where we at. And until Andy Reid goes ahead and kind of comes off of himself and go ahead and say, look, I need to go ahead and rethink and redo everything, then we're going to go ahead and have games for us that we might do good, we might not. It's literally a crapshoot.
Now, let me ask you this. Shout out to Amin for this comment. He says, defense can't stop anybody. It's as simple as that. Patrick Mahomes is doing all he can to try to put up points, try to put points on the board, kind of like back when he was at Texas Tech, where the defense couldn't stop anybody.
Yeah.
With that in the defense, as good as Mahomes is, do you think that he is pressing a lot? Do you think that he is kind of forcing things to happen instead of letting the game come to him because he knows he's got to do something because the defense is going to let him down?
1,000%. 1,000%. That is one of the things that's happening. One thing that teams are doing is we talked about this before. Teams are going ahead and saying, look, we are petrified of this team hitting that one play 75-yard pass. Petrified. So what we do to go ahead and combat that is we'll go ahead and put our safeties in the parking lot. Go ahead and have everybody play back. We'll give you the 5-yard out. We'll give you as far as, we'll give you, those plays. But you are going to have to be patient and go ahead and take those plays for 15 plays down the field and score a touchdown. If you're willing to do that, I tip my hat to you. But what's not going to happen is you're not going to have a 7-play drive, score a touchdown, get a 3 and out, have a 2-play drive, get a touchdown, and now all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball by 2 scores. Teams aren't doing that no more. They know our tendencies, they know everything that we want to do, and they're going ahead and just flipping what we want to do on its head and saying, okay, you want to do this? Well, now I'm going to go ahead and make you do this. Now with Mahomes, can you be patient enough to go ahead and wait, for a shot play to open down the field? Can you go ahead and take the 10-yard slant instead of going ahead and holding the ball and trying to scramble, and then you fumble the ball, 2-3 times a game? Or can you go ahead and take what the defense is giving you and not try to scramble around and go ahead and be hit and then throw while you parallel to the ground and throw a ball up, and it's basically a punt that's an interception?
Yeah. Last 2 points, and then we're going to get out of here. Amin says, don't even get me started about his brother Jackson. A lot of stuff going around about Pat Mahomes' little brother.
Yeah.
How he's taking his brother's fame to his head a little bit too much, taking advantage of his brother. A lot of issues going on at home in the family life of Patrick Mahomes.
Indeed.
Do you see that being a distraction for him this season?
I believe it is. Marcus, me and you, we're fathers.
Yeah.
We've had newborn babies before. You got a newborn baby now.
Yep.
You know what it is. No sleep at all.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go ahead and make sure that your wife or your baby mother is okay. So you're going to have to go ahead and have times where you up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, changing diapers, doing feedings, doing all these things. And I think that's where he's at right now. And I don't think that he thought that it would affect him as much as it clearly is affecting him. In regards to his brother to me is just someone who's looking for fame. My brother is the face of the league. I'm going to go ahead and use his notoriety to go ahead and to be seen on TikTok. That's all it is. What he did at the Washington football game at Sean Taylor's memorial thing was almost disgusting. But that's something that he has to handle. As a matter of fact, his fiance Brittany, I believe, got banned from the press box at Arrowhead Stadium because of some of the things that she was saying on Twitter, on TikTok, for whereas is that it kind of was looking bad on the organization. And if I'm not mistaken, the organization I don't think that she's allowed in the press box at Arrowhead Stadium anymore. Not the press box, the luxury box. And I'm sorry. She's not allowed on the field. She's allowed in the luxury box. She's not allowed on the field. And I think Jackson Mahomes is the same thing. So you got your potential wife and your brother who's not allowed on your home field. You probably tired. You going ahead and doing feedings and doing this and doing that and going ahead and planning a wedding. So you add that to it. So, you got all this stuff that's going on with the immense pressure of with every mistake that you made is magnified, I don't know, 500 million times, because you're the $500 million quarterback. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. Shout out to the family. Kyle Love. He says, "Okay, family, I see y'all. What's going on with you, cuz?" Last question, because you touched on it and we saw it. This team revamped the offensive line. This was supposed to be an offensive line that was better than the offensive line that they rolled out in the Super Bowl. In order for them to get rid of 2 Super Bowl winning tackles in Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. Got rid of both of those guys, revamped the offensive line. At the beginning of the year, they liked Lucas Niang. They make the trade for Orlando Brown Jr. They draft Creed Humphrey. They get Joe Thuney from the Patriots. This entire line is revamped. They love the kid Trey Smith. He got passed over in the draft. Comes out and he's balling out during preseason OTAs, minicamp. Where do you see the offensive line as being a problem? Are they not as good as this team, the front office, Andy Reid anticipated, or is it more of what defenses are showing them? And because Patrick Mahomes is, improvising and escaping the pocket and trying to make things happen, that's why we're seeing some of the sacks and the strip fumbles and things of that nature. Is there an issue with this revamped offensive line? Is it not as good as they anticipated? What's your thought process on that?
I don't think that it's not as good as people thought that it would be. The line, I think that they need time to gel for one.
Okay.
I don't think that right now is a big enough sample size because they had some good games that they played so far. Then they got some games like i.e. the game against the Titans that didn't go so well. Orlando Brown, I think what's his name? Harold Rainey, the DN. Harold Landry, yeah, cooked Orlando Brown twice for 2 sacks off the edge. So I think it's just a matter of time to gel. And also with Mahomes is unique because, when he drops back to pass, most quarterbacks are dropping back 7 to 8 yards. He drops back to 10 to 12 yards. So when you do that as an offensive lineman, you got to go ahead and be aware that, okay, my quarterback is dropped back a full 3 to 4 yards further than any other quarterback that I've ever played with. I got to adjust to that. This quarterback is going to be mobile. He's going to go ahead and not when he sees an opening, he's going to go ahead and run. He's going to go ahead and run around, which means I have to go ahead and hold my block longer than your typical 2 to 3 seconds. I got to go ahead and block for 5 seconds in some cases. And I think that's where we're at. I think they don't really know Mahomes that great, and that comes with timing. I think that as the season will go along, I think the protection will get better, but with Mahomes, it's just that he has to go ahead and know when to take the sack, when to throw the ball away. And it's just that simple. When you cannot fumble the ball twice in a game. You cannot throw 2 to 3 picks in a game. And in some of these picks, they're in the red zone. That is absolute no-nos. Going ahead and turning the ball over in the red zone. I think out of the 9 interceptions that Mahomes has thrown, I think 6 of them are red zone interceptions. That's atrocious. You cannot have that. So I think it's just a matter of the offensive line will go ahead and gel. Hopefully we get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back. I think maybe he might come back this week. I don't know. They had him on IR for 3 weeks. So I think he might be designated to come back. Maybe that might go ahead and help because the offensive line is more of a road grader offensive line. They're manufactured to run the ball, not necessarily to pass block for 6 to 7 seconds. But I think that in that aspect, I think that that'll get better as time goes along. But the question is, will that be enough?
Last question. Are you optimistic that your Chiefs can still make the playoffs?
No. from what I've seen right now, I think that the offense is broken. Fundamentally, I think the offense is broken. I think teams have caught on to what Andy Reid is doing. They're not falling for the cute jet motion stuff, ghost motion stuff no more. Nobody's falling for that. A year ago, 2 years ago, 2000 teams fell for that. Oh my God, Tyreek is going in an orbit motion. Oh my God, we got to go ahead and keep our eyes on him. Now teams are like, nah, we got our safeties in the parking lot. He ain't going nowhere. So now we're kind of stuck. Andy Reid has to go ahead and revamp as far as how he calls the game. Mahomes is going to have to go ahead and be more patient and also go ahead and take the things that are available to them, or do things like, no huddle, going ahead and get the ball out within 2 seconds. You got to change stuff up to go ahead and get these defenses out of the defense that they're playing against you. Because if you don't do that, they're going to sit back and wait for the Chiefs to shoot themselves in the foot.
Now, if I said that the teams ahead of y'all, for y'all to get the 7th seed, are Indianapolis at 3-4, New England at 3-4, the Patriots at 3-3, and then right now the 7th seed would be the Browns at 4-3. Are you still not optimistic?
No, because of who we play.
Okay.
Again, we got the Giants. We should win that game. I don't know. Green Bay terrifies me. Terrifies me. The Raiders.
They might not have Devontae though.
They might have Devontae because he's on the COVID list. So
yes,
that might go ahead and change things a little bit. The Raiders are playing good. Then we got Dallas after that. I mean, so in order for us to go ahead and to get to the playoffs, out of these next 4 games, we got to win 3 of them. We can't go a 2-2 or a 1-3 and then go ahead and try to run the table for the rest of the games after the bye and then expect, for us to go ahead and make the playoffs. So right now, I just think it's a down year. It's a bad year. I think it showed a lot of flaws. Now, would I love to be wrong? I would love to be wrong. And then the Chiefs go ahead and go on with 3-4. I would love for them to go ahead and go on like a 7-8 game winning streak. I would love for that to happen, but right now I got to be realistic on what I'm seeing right now. And what I'm seeing is that when we're making stupid mistakes all the time. Yeah. It's not once or twice, it's all the time. And until we get that corrected, we might go ahead and finish at 9-8, maybe, and that might be good enough for us to go ahead and get a wild card spot. Maybe, I don't know, but at this point, we'll see.
Yeah, listen, I wish I could be the opposite of you because right now, ahead of us, like I think numbers wise, we're in the same spot. So there's 3 teams ahead of us plus the team that would be 7th. So right now, it's ironic, but the Chiefs and the 49ers are in the exact same spot. So we're 2-4. Ahead of us are the Carolina Panthers at 3-4, the Chicago Bears at 3-4, the Atlanta Falcons at 3-3, and then the 7th seed would be the Minnesota Vikings at 3-3. So I mean, Atlanta, Chicago, and Carolina, I'm not worried about those teams.
Right.
But I agree with you. It's about who we play.
Right.
We still got the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Like we play the Bears. So it's like you said, like you think that y'all should beat the Giants. I think we should beat the Bears. But then after that, we got the Cardinals and the Rams back to back. So we got the 7-0 Cardinals and the 6-1 Rams back to back. And they might not lose the next 2 weeks, depending on their schedules, as long as they don't play each other. Then we got the Jaguars, which is a team we should beat. But then we got the Vikings, who we know are tough. The Seahawks will probably have Russell Wilson back. We got the Bengals, who we know are playing good. Then we got the Falcons, who I think we can beat. Tennessee, I don't see us stopping Derrick Henry in Tennessee. So that's a West Coast team traveling east 2 days before Christmas. I don't even think our heads will be in the game, especially depending on where our record is at that point. We
Right.
should beat the Texans, but then we end the season off with the Rams. And depending on where the Rams and the Cardinals are as far as record-wise, the Rams may be starting their starters to try to beat us to get, to maybe tie with the Rams or to overtake the Rams for the number 1 seed in the NFC, or the number 1 seed in our division. So they may be in a battle as far as their record. So they may have to start their starters in week 18 against us.
Right.
So am I optimistic that we can make the playoffs? I mean, if we only beat the weak teams on this schedule, which is the Bears, the Jaguars, the Falcons, and the Titans, that's only 4 wins. That means we're 6-11, and we're not making the playoffs at 6-11. So if this team is who they say they are and who we think they are, we got to find a way to get the Cardinals beat us in the first game. We got to find a way to get this second game at home. We got to find a way to get one against the Rams. We got to find a way to get that second game against the Seahawks. And then we're going to have to steal one from either the Vikings, Bengals, or Titans. We're going to have to steal 1 or 2 of those games in order for us to have a legitimate shot. And right now, playing the way we're playing with Jimmy Garoppolo as our quarterback, not being able to read defenses and understand what he's getting, I don't see it.
Yeah. And kind of the same way with the Chiefs. I mean, we got Cincinnati. We got to play in Cincinnati, which before the season started, I thought that would be an easy win. Now, who knows what that is? We've only played 1 division game so far, and we lost that game.
Listen,
so we got to play the Broncos twice.
Yeah.
We got to play the Chargers in LA
Yep.
once, and we got to play the Raiders twice.
Listen,
so right now, the way we playing, I don't know. I don't know. So, like I said, right now I don't see it. But like I said, I've been wrong before. Hopefully, they can go ahead and right the ship, and maybe go ahead and sneak into the playoffs as a wild card. And then once that happens, anything can happen.
Because I'm gonna end it with this: in that Bengals game, I better not see Daniel Sorensen or Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I think we benched him, for the foreseeable future. As long as Juan Thornhill don't get hurt, then I think we should be.
Let's pray Juan don't get hurt. Because if I see number 49 on number 1, I'm gonna call you right away, and I'm gonna be like, dog, take it easy, take a deep breath. If I see 49 at any point in that game on number 1, it's gonna be crazy. Again, shout out to you, Miss Deb. Thank you, Terrence and Mose, for a great show. Peace and blessings to both of you. Thank you, Miss Deb. We appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. My cousin Devin, who hopped in with us for a little bit. Kyle, Amin. Who else we got in here? Newman, my Dion from Niner Gang Podcast. 49er Chanel. I think we had one more person, didn't we? Tyrese Powell. Thank you for everybody who tuned in tonight. Appreciate y'all for hopping in with us. Going forward, I think I will do lives. We'll have a bunch of other guests come in and just talk about their teams, where we see the action for that particular week. So tap in with Mose Knows on my social media accounts so that you get updates whenever we go live. Terrence, love you, family. Appreciate you for jumping in.
Yes, sir.
And let's hope our teams can turn it around.
Indeed.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.